What's happening, troops? Welcome back to another video here on the SharpDiv YouTube channel. If you are new in here, please consider subscribing to the channel. You alright, mate? In this video today, we're going to be discussing and giving ratings to some of the players from the old firm. And yeah. We're down here today doing a wee socially distanced one-to-one football session, which is decent, so I thought rather than making our first take yesterday, we'd just wait to the day. How did you find the game, Butsy?
Beautiful. Absolutely loved every minute.
Really good?
It was really good.
Should we just get into some ratings then?
Let's do it, mate. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go with you.
Alan
Sorry if I'm looking
McGregor.
like this as well, by the way. It's because I've been putting a wee bit of work in, mate.
I like the hat.
Look at it sweating.
Look, let's go a wee bit closer actually.
Look at the sweat, man.
Jesus. Alan McGregor didn't have a lot to do. I mean, Celtic never had one shot on target in the match.
Nope.
For me, it's just a solid 7. Didn't even need to do anything really in the game, so 7 for me.
I'll agree with that. Distribution and all that was good. A couple of these kicks were spot on. Sometimes with McGregor then go a wee bit wary and go out the park, but everyone stayed in, hit the spots he needed to hit and put them on the counter, so 7.
I was impressed actually with his distribution yesterday, because usually the ball got to Tav, that long one, but yesterday because of their position they were stopping that from happening, so he was just hitting out to Barisic. Solid 7 for a big man.
His ability to control and just calm the game down as well. I thought at certain points where you're thinking to yourself you need a leader in there just to get the boys going, and you can hear him, he's vocal and he was just kind of assuring everybody was in the right place, no rushing goal kicks, no getting too excited, and that experience is invaluable. There you are.
Captain Tav,
Oh,
do you want to kick us off with this one? The only downside there is I had him as my vice captain in the fantasy football rather than my captain, but you live and learn, don't you? He'll be my captain going forward.
Oh man, he's just everything you could ever want for a captain. He's really just taking his game to another level. You're hearing all these comparisons with other right backs in the team. Frimpong's better, some of the media says. Well, Tavernier shut that up pretty
tried and
sharply.
trusted and so experienced now in the fixture, now in the league. I mean, I think he's 27, 28, he's really coming into his own, coming into his
confident.
peak. That delivery right onto Conor Golson's head yesterday, and there was a few more like it, was
there was,
unbelievable.
You heard Conor Golson after the match today, says when he kind of slowly walked up to Tavernier and he was waiting to see where everyone was positioned, and he talked about his experiences with Duffy. He says he doesn't want to get in a headed battle with Duffy because he's worked with him before, he knows. So he says Duffy's lingering at the back post, so he actually said to Tavernier, I'm going to be making a dart towards the front post, so if you can put it in there,
you'll have to see
I'll be there. And it worked to perfection. So
something that I thought was mind-boggling was the fact that Celtic seemed to be doing a zonal marking, especially like Rangers, Barisic and Tav are pinpoint crossers.
Absolutely.
They're going to hit an area, and if we attack that and they've got a run on the defence, it's going to be easy days. They had Duffy at the back post.
Slows weak in themselves.
Really, yes. They had him at the back post, which I thought was a big tactical error. And as you said, Golson just floats in and cushions it. Conor Golson.
No.
Wait, did we get have his mark actually?
Oh no, actually never. I'm actually going to go 8, mate. Solid 8.
Solid 8.
And I think we can...
I'll agree with that. I'll give him an 8 as well.
I think we're getting to the stage now we can look at Tavernier this season and say 8 out of 10s every single week, and you can't argue that. Leading by example, true captain performance for the skipper. Good
going forward and going backwards. That's something he's improved on so much. That's something I think that people don't talk about enough.
Nope.
He's been part of a record-breaking defence so far this season, and people just don't talk about it enough. They like to judge him on previous performances and stuff like that. What about Brandon Barker being the first guy to lay a marker? I couldn't believe that.
I loved it. I loved
it, but it was mental.
I love it.
There's just somebody driving past on a bike, but we'll forget about them.
It's fine.
We'll forget about them. We'll just keep going. Do you know? Try and be as professional as possible in this park.
Yep.
Not really a big studio or anything like that, but
no.
Did we just start moving backwards there as well? I feel like we did. We could maybe come a bit closer. Let's start with Helander, because Conor Golson, you absolute Adonis of a man, but Helander, I've bigged the guy up to F, no but I swear, and I thought yesterday, again, not getting the headlines, but he was there when you needed him. One of Celtic's only real opportunities, he flies in.
Brilliant
and he breaks it up, unbelievable, and throughout the rest, just with his positional sense, it was just solid. So again, I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I'd say an 8 as well. I think he's ice cold, and that's just kind of
in the
sums
veins,
him up perfectly.
freezing.
You never see him going off his nut, you never see him rushing. People will say, oh, he's no quick. If you're a good defender, you shouldn't need to be quick. You're in the right position at every time. Look at that Kilmala, you talk about everyone bumming up his
I don't know
pace.
why people say about rushing anyway, because he's Swedish.
No, this is why I didn't come on your channel.
That was a dad joke, wasn't it? But yeah, solid 8 for a big man. Let's move on to Conor Golson.
Aye.
Do you want to kick us off on this, mate?
I mean,
What can you give him? Is it above like 10? Can you go above 10?
I think so. I hope so. I think you can go 55. I think. Nah, I'm just going to give him a straight 10. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Everyone's singing his praises and rightly so. And I felt that was a special moment for him. And even Gerrard touched on that in his press conference after the game, where he says Katic won a lot of the headlines and got a lot of respect for his goal at Celtic. And he says
which was rightly deserved, but
yeah, absolutely. But now it's time for Conor Golson, who's there every single week, doesn't miss a game, puts his heart out there for everybody to see every moment, and he deserves that for everything that he gives. And you heard Ryan Jack even saying he's the most professional player that he's ever worked with.
See, when you say the word heart there as well,
yep,
that's obviously from his past. He had a heart condition. See, for him coming through that, 3 or 4 seasons I think it was, wasn't it, where he was just battling against this condition, to come through that, you could just see how much it meant for him. The movement was good, but
Brilliant.
The second goal, wow, that was instinctive. The finish, even the first attempted finish that Duffy blocked,
I can't believe he
was
made
a
that
brilliant
contact on it. I was like, that's a volley.
That's better contact than Morelos gets most of the time.
I mean,
it was going in the bottom corner and it just drops to him, and I just love cool, calm, collective, passes it,
Spreads
through the
legs,
neck, spreads them, chocolate.
The 2 goals knocks him above Hollander, in my opinion. And
I agree.
You score 2 goals in Old Firm, you're going to get a 10. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
all day,
mate.
All day.
Moving to the midfield then, Stephen
Left
Davis. Oh yes. Moving over to the left back position, Borna boy. No, Borna Barisic again. Mate, I just think it's incredible how far he's came. From being counted out for Andy Halliday and John Flanagan and all these guys. Flanny boy, playing in front of him, and for him just to put in another solid performance. For me, does he get an 8 or 7?
I'd go 7, mate.
I would say a 7 as well, because you know Tav got an 8 and he got the assist, but it was more so down Tav's side I thought. But Borna's still solid, and again handled Celtic's biggest threat. Him and Glenn Kamara, obviously, that we'll get on to, handled him really comfortably. I don't think he was beat once by Frimpong in the match, so solid 7 from Borna, mate.
Yeah, that's right, defensively solid, and even that
Borna
chance, one of the chances Rangers had in the second half was his brilliant run down the left hand side, and his picture perfect cross to Kent. Many caught it in the volley, and I think Ayer makes a very good block, but that shows you when he was unleashed and had to go forward, he had the quality as well. But I shut down that left hand side, so a solid 7 for me.
What a guy. So right across the board there, good performances from the back line of Rangers, and got themselves a clean sheet, which is all you can ask for in a game like this. They didn't really need to do a lot, not even try to like throw Celtic under the bus there or anything, because they never had a shot on target, but for the defence they didn't really have enough to do. I think Lennon maybe messed that up with who he played up front, I'm not going to lie, but at the end of the day, we're talking about the Rangers players here, they played who was in front of them and they handled them pretty comfortably.
No excuses in an Old Firm.
Exactly, no excuses, mate. All form goes out the window, doesn't it? If you can't get yourself up for an Old Firm, there's something wrong. So moving on to the midfield, we will start with Stephen Davis. It was a big call, I think, for the manager to leave out Ryan Jack. But it was one that I kind of expected, just because of this boy Frimpong. I thought Kamara on this side, Davis in the middle, and then Arfield get out and shut in that side out. Not to say anything about Ryan Jackson, I think he's brilliant, and I think he will come back into that midfield as a starter. But it's good to just see the progression of that midfield and how we can take players out like Ryan Jack and still dominate it.
Motivating as well for Jacko as well, because obviously won Player of the Year last year. Came back for injury, maybe expects to go back into the squad, but Gerrard's like, no. But to be fair, Jacko came on and played pretty well as well. But
good management though.
Aye, that's exactly what it is. You want people hungry and fighting for spots. You didn't just walk into a Rangers team, and I thought he handled that perfectly. But Davis, like you said, some people question him, including myself. At the end of the last season, I was like, he's losing everything. He can't run, he can't do this. Then you look at it, 2 international and 3 international games.
He's now the most outfield cap player in Northern Ireland history.
It's ridiculous. He went ahead and played 3 international games and then went out and put a solid, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Again, maybe some people would go higher, but for me, I thought he'd done everything he needed today. Right position, go the passing. A couple of wee moments where you're thinking to yourself,
I think there was one in the midfield where Alfredo ends up getting the yellow card, but other than that, I agree with you, mate. Mr. Consistency, Mr. Experience.
I'll take a 7 out of 10 every week.
Absolutely. In the midfield, in an Old Firm, away from home, easy days.
Controlled it.
Scotty Arfield.
I love the boy, mate.
I love him. He's just got the biggest swagger in Scottish football.
I love it, mate.
The first image I seen of him swaggering in was walking into Parkhead, and then I think it was just shithousery taking him off just so he could swagger onto the touchline.
It's my favourite
thing. Absolutely love it.
See if I could ever get him just to swagger and then drop the salute at the same. That would be me. I'd delight with that.
Unbelievable. Pregnant.
Oh, it would be. 7 out of 10 again for me. I thought he was excellent. Energy, work rate, everything you could ever want and need from Scotty Arfield. Just seeing it again, and we were talking about international duty just a minute ago, but I think you're seeing the benefit of him now. Not
having to travel halfway across the world
and then
to play for Canada.
Exactly. I think you're seeing that now. He's been absolutely outstanding, and he is arguably one of the first names on the team sheet now.
Well, he's one of the most informed now, isn't he?
He's ridiculous. Gerrard's singing his praises, so definitely I'd say another 7 again. That's not me taking a dig. 7's a good score for me.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
It's above average, way above average. You know, What I liked about the two guys that we just spoke about there is just a lot of energy, a lot of work that you don't see off the ball as well. That's something Scotty Arfield always gives you. He's always in their faces. Every single game he's putting everything into it. But for me, the star man in the midfield, Glenn Kamara.
Aye.
I need to give him a 10 as well.
Yep.
I need to give him a 10. I think if Big Golson never got the goals, he was pushing them all the way for the man of the match. But you can't really argue with a guy that gets 2 goals. Very centre half position. But Big Glenn Kamara, he's had his doubters.
Yep.
Everybody, I think, has doubted him. If you just look at the Livingston performance.
Yep. People saying you shouldn't be playing him.
You shouldn't be playing him. He's too slow. We seen in that game what he's all about. Just a Rolls Royce in those types of games,
I was actually really impressed because obviously I watched a lot of the international games and everything and that as well, but this was like the most international performance I've seen for Kamara, where he's got that ability to go anywhere in the park wherever he wants, and I think that's how you get the best out of Glenn Kamara. You give him that responsibility. He was skipping by people, mate. Honestly, he was skipping by Brown. They tried to put double up on him in the second half. It didn't matter. Feet just far too clever.
On the second goal, it was his cut back against Ncham, who's no mug.
No,
and he gives it back, and then we get the goal from that. So for me, a 10 with a big cigar in his mouth.
Aye, that's right. Man of
days.
Up there with the man of the match. Definitely 10 out of 10 for me in every aspect that you could ever want.
Absolutely. So let's go over to Brandon Barkin now. What was your original thoughts about him starting the game? Because I kind of half expected potentially it would either be Hadji playing there or Arfield, which I didn't want pushed up, or else he would go for pace. In the end, he goes for pace. Barker comes in. What did you think?
For me, I wasn't surprised because I was kind of half expecting it, especially when you look at how Celtic play and how vulnerable they are to the defensive areas. When you saw Barker come in, I'm like, this could be the game for Barker. You talk about when he came back against Ross County, excellent. When he came in, he showed a bit of composure, and I was excited to see him. And I think what you can save maybe for Barker, I'm going to give him the lowest to everyone that was in the starting 11, if I'm honest, but still, he
was the first
hard,
sub
mate.
as well, wasn't he?
He worked hard, and that's all you want from him. I didn't think his job was necessarily to go out there and be a Ryan Kent in that game and beat people and create things, but he had an important role to help Tavernier out and cut him down that side. So I'm going to actually go ahead and give him a 6.
I'll agree with that.
6.
I think there was moments in the game where he wasn't really doing what he was in there for, which for me was getting the ball and taking us forward 15-20 yards. But again, still put in a solid shift. Definitely wasn't below average.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he didn't embarrass himself, didn't he let himself down, he still stuck to the shape. He was, as you said, very pivotal to the way that we played, so I'm still going to give him a 6.
I think he's a wee bit of a victim as well. Like Ryan Kent on the other side playing the way he's playing and just being the best player. So everyone's looking at the other side and saying, why are we not getting that for that side as well? But no matter who you put in there, you're not going to get a Ryan Kent on that other side. Barker, what he brings you is energy and work rate, and he put that in for me. Was the execution there? No really, but you think of the second half, it was his fantastic through ball in between, I think it was Welsh, to allow us to have a really good attack. So he had his moments. Was it his best performance? No, but I'm going to give him a solid 6. Run his heart out.
I just think everybody really done their job in this game. And it's why it was very professional. They turned it on the first 15 minutes, got a goal, then kind of managed the game. That's something I've been so impressed with Rangers in this season, really. Game management, something that we've struggled with. First 15 minutes, you get your goal, even though probably you were screaming at telly, I was screaming at telly, go and get another, go and get another. They were happy just to pass the ball about and stuff like that, go into half time at 1-0, turn it on again at the start of the second half, get the goal, and then just walk out with the 3 points. Let's go Ryan Kent next then.
This one's a wee bit hard one for me because I think he was actually excellent in the game, but he's kind of overshadowed because of the way the game was. You know what I mean? He didn't have the goal, he didn't have the assist, but again, he was getting stuck in. They tried kicking off the pillar to post. How many times did you see
and
Brown
there was so many duels that he won. He went into 50-50s. I know, ones with Brown, that reminds me every time he went in with a 50-50 with him,
he won it.
He left him on his arse, you know what I mean? And that was definitely something that kind of went overlooked with the headlines and all that. And a lot of the good moves that Rangers had was through him.
Yeah, his work rate and closing down especially. I thought the pressing, when you could see it when they were trying to pass round the back, he was the guy that initiated the press. So I was really impressed with Ryan Kent. A wee bit underneath the radar. I wouldn't say it was his most prolific performance.
What are you giving him then?
7.
I'll go with a 7 as well, because I don't think I can give Bournemouth a 7 and then give Kent a higher score than that. But something that's actually promising, he can play way better than that still. And we've seen it in other old firms, and we didn't really need him to do that in this game. It was mental. Same with this guy, Alfredo Morelos. I'm giving him a 7 as well, mate.
Right.
Because I don't think that he, again, dominated the game as he usually does. Didn't really have a chance in the game, but again, he was just an annoyance. And you talked about in your video how when Brown noises people up, he gets applauded, whereas when Morelos tries to do it, although it's no sneaky, I'm not going to lie, it's very obvious when Morelos does it. The most obvious thing I've ever seen. No subtle in the slightest, the wee man. I like your kid, G. So, For me, a 7 wasn't vintage Morelos, but again, put in a really hard shift, runs all day for you, and he was again pivotal the way we play.
Well, this I think the first time we're actually going to be slightly different here, mate. Can I go a 0.5? Can I go a 0.5?
On you go, mate. On you go.
I'm going to give him a 6.5. I'm not going to give him on a 6, but I don't think I feel like I can give myself just because that crazy 10 minutes where
it was a bit mental.
Yeah, let's be honest.
There was a period where I was going, can we sub him?
Can we calm him down a little bit?
Jermaine, get warmed up. Cedric, hey, Cedric,
have a word with him, Gerard.
Exactly.
Have a word with him, son.
And when I was watching the game, I'm like, somebody pull him, have a word. But then I realised when they're walking off, he's a grown man. Do you know what I mean? They're thinking, this guy's a grown man. Do you know what I mean? He's 23-year-old or 24-year-old. He should be able to handle it. And he just kind of.
I thought the second half he came back out well.
Absolutely. He walks out, nice, cool, calm and collective. Again,
vital in the second goal as well with his nice little 1-2
he
with
was.
Scotty Arfield.
Yep. And that's probably why I've given him a 7. I thought he maybe linked up a wee bit more than your Barker. And there was a couple of points during the first half, the wee nutmeg. There was a few, but the wee nutmeg with the cross into the box, and then again the second goal and stuff like that. Thought he linked up decently, but nah, no vintage, but it's a 7 for me.
Yeah, I'll go again 6.5. Again, I'm not saying he had a bad performance, but it did scare me for that 10 minutes because I was so glad when half time came.
So
see if it was any longer, I was like, oh Jesus, I'm on my knees here. I think he's important for these games, even just for the mental side of the game.
Definitely, but what did you think that Gerrard said to him at half time?
Fucking what are you doing?
Aye. Do you think he gave him a slap?
Oh, just like one of them.
Aye, just like, come on.
No, Gerrard would have been like, I'm
chill.
on my knees, mate. What are you doing? How many times am I going to trust you?
We'll leave the subs because they did come on, they done their job and stuff, but for me the game was already
solid 5s, Orange.
Solid 5s, exactly. Nobody came on and embarrassed themselves. They came on and they did well.
Fucking fly just flew at my face.
Did it? Protein.
There you are.
Get that in your gullet.
Right.
Aye.
Bear Grylls.
Worms. Hey troops, if you have enjoyed this video,
I need to get back to training now.
Exactly, we need to go and do a wee session now. Please consider subscribing. You said this the other day, if you don't tell them to, you said it earlier actually, if you don't tell them to subscribe they'll not do it, so
it is.
On you go guys.
And subscribe to me.
If everybody watching this video subscribes, this probably have 50,000 views, so if everybody subscribes we'll overtake CJ, which is great.
Is that it? You're fucking using me that
Fuck off! There you go! Kidding on mate, cheers for coming on. We'll see you in the next one. Bye out.
All my weakness keep on